Yo, guys, welcome to the Blue Podcast. This is the Purple Show with me, Tom, Ben, Cam, and Fab. How are you boys doing today?
Thanks.
Good, thank you, Tom.
Good, yeah.
Today will obviously be a discussion on Chelsea, City, Liverpool, and Arsenal, as per usual. But before we get into everything, we are an ambassador for a new app called LinkMe. It's an app that makes juggling social media accounts easier than ever. Make sure to download the app and make an account with our link below and check out the merch. That would be greatly appreciated. Now, before we start the podcast, I know Cam wanted to talk about Chelsea being in the bin. So, do you want to?
We got to go straight into it, right?
Yeah, straight into it. Go.
We got. Of course we do. Right, let's just all take a little moment of silence to laugh at Chelsea and the situation that they're in. Let's all just take a little breather, can we? Right, you're in the bin. You're in the bin, mate.
No, we're good.
No, you literally the Roman Abramovich era. Look where it's got you now. Oh wow! Oh, fantastic.
Pretty good, to be fair.
Pretty good. Not for the foreseeable future. Not for the future.
Well,
it's just gonna.
The bids have all come in on Friday at the latest 9 p.m. So we've had 16. No, a lot of bids. Can't remember the exact number so far. There's 6 actual ones, and then a couple that were just clearly just people taking the piss. I think. So we're moving forwards in the sale.
But the sale doesn't. I don't care who buys the club unless it's someone that's equal rich as Abramovich or even more. You're just not going to be the same club. You're not going to have the same power as you have done for the last nearly 10 years. So how can Chelsea Football Club sustain itself when it's not going to have that financial backing? I don't know.
No, we probably won't have the same financial backing as usual. But I feel like there are things in place, so we won't just completely drop off like United and Arsenal. But there will be a growing phase for sure.
You like to slip that in, didn't he?
Well, how long has it taken? Well, the Cronkies came in, 15, 20 years ago, right? It's still going through a rebuilding process of having new owners, new plans, new developments. Like, it's just you're going to drop off. You're not going to have the same success, are you? It's going to take a long time.
I don't know if I'd say they'll drop off. I think it does entirely depend on the new owner, but from what I've seen, there are the potential owners that you could have do sound like they will invest. So I don't know if they'll drop off to that extent, but they'll. Then there may be a drop off in terms of investment and stuff like that, but I can't see them dropping. If they were to drop off at all, dropping off that much because is there like a Saudi media group that are planning to which I don't understand how that isn't in conflict of interest with like the Saudi sale for Newcastle, but anyway. And then there's the Chicago Bulls geezer who's worth billions, and then there's what do you say? John Terry's doing that little thing, and then there's Swiss geezer. So there's these good there seems to be like these good or rich potential owners. So I don't think the investment might drop a little bit, but I can't see it dropping off that much.
Yeah. But like when I say drop off, I mean like dropping out of top 4 and just kind of struggling to get back to the last few
squad as well. Like there's no way we drop off that quickly.
No, it won't happen. It won't be immediate. No, but the reason why you've got here is financial support. If you don't get that financial support, you're going to suffer especially because other teams around you are investing, are building, and you're going to have to take 5 steps backwards while people are already 3 steps forward. So, I hope it happens.
I'm sure all of you hope that we do drop off dramatically.
I can't see it happening with Tuchel as manager. Maybe if you get the next manager wrong, it could happen, but it's definitely not happening under Tuchel. And this because the squad's there and Tuchel's the manager. And then if you get the manager right, then it won't happen. But if you do get the next manager wrong, maybe. But someone just scored.
No. So I just walked into the house.
Okay.
Well, my favourite people to take over are Sir Martin and Lord Co, which will be a consortium with a lot of money in it, having been part of tobacco companies and sports companies. So there's hope. And then there's John Terry also bringing 250 mil.
What a great ambassador. Tobacco company.
Yeah, well, it's better than Ben's owners, so it's all right.
Right.
But-
Because Chelsea have got a really good owner at the moment. They've always had good owners. It's just a universal thing.
But did you see the thing where he bought a load like a steel company, Roman Abramovich, pretty much a week before the war started? So there's a lot of rumors that he's giving steel for the tanks to Russia.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
He's one of the group of oligarchs that basically essentially run Russia. So that's the reason. That's the reason behind all this. So
yeah. But JT getting involved as well to create a club, say from the fans, which would be good. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
That's the one positive thing that I can see is the fan representation on the board. That's the one thing that I wish that Arsenal had. But
and so Martin and Lord Co are both Chelsea fans as well, so that's positive. So
yeah, I think we've spoke about it as well that having Petr Cech and that other one.
Really going to Sky.
That's the one. He knows the name. He knows the name. He's got that saved. But anyway, I think having them two. I mean, she's like a bit slimy, isn't she? Because she's Russian and all that. But and she's like a Abramovich assistant, isn't she? So it's like she definitely has knowledge of what he does. There's no chance that she has no idea what's going on. But Petr Cech, he seems like he's got his head screwed on and he understands the club and stuff. So I think that'll help you as well. That's good for you as well. So yeah,
there are positives with a lot of.
What do you think?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it gets quite political, doesn't it? Like, we're just a football chat show, aren't we? And there's almost a world war going on. So it's hard to say something without, just based on football. But
like from Chelsea for Chelsea, no, strictly Chelsea Football Club.
For Chelsea, I'd say I remember probably 10 years ago, my dad saying to me "Oh, Chelsea have this sugar daddy. You just feeding them in this cash." This was before the City era as well, and it's I think unless you got a Newcastle owner or something like that, I think you essentially lost your sugar daddy. And it's not going to immediately take effect, so to speak. But I think in the next 5 seasons, I struggle to see that squad getting reinvested in unless it's done the right way.
If we can sell Lukaku for a bit of money,
they'll run them. I mean, it's a strange one because these potential owners are billionaires, aren't they? So you can't see them. They might not, because Abramovich obviously invested a lot. They might not invest as much in, but you can't see him not investing anything. But then, if they were to sort of run it not investing as much as Abramovich did, then they'll look at the Liverpool model and run it that way.
Easier said than done, though.
It's easier said than done, absolutely. But you would think that would be what they would try to replicate if they're not going to invest as much.
But this is the problem, isn't it? That can't be happening straight away. And Chelsea fans currently recent success, they're going to be expecting a retention of that. They're going to be still in the mindset of we're going to compete for the league, we're going to compete for the Champions League. As soon as that goes away, things can start falling apart pretty fast. And then you're in a situation of Man United, where Man United fans are still deluded, thinking that they're the biggest club in the world, when actually they're struggling in every single way possible in terms of the club, the pit, on the pitch, off the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult to say which definitively it will that they will drop off because as they stand on the face value, they're going to get a new owner who will invest maybe like the same, maybe a little bit less. Maybe
If someone was investing half of what Abramovich put in, I'd still be anyone would be extremely happy.
So, but obviously there's that uncertainty and stuff like that. But like, it's still a very attractive club.
Yeah, I'd say the immediate thing that could happen quite quickly, and it already sort of has, is like Chelsea run, and so do City, so do a lot of clubs, including United as well, run really high wage bills. Like, essentially, I don't want to sound too harsh here, but when you join those clubs, one of the buying points is you will get like a fat paycheck at the end of every week. And now that's less likely. Your current squad will be looking at that and thinking, City can offer me the same or higher contract. Am I really going to get a new contract with such a high wage bill in the summer? Rudiger's already.
I wouldn't say. I mean, obviously, don't get me wrong. City's and Chelsea's and United's. I mean, United's wages are charts. But like City and Chelsea, they have although they do. Don't get me wrong. They do spend more on wages than Liverpool do. But absolutely. But they still have that wage structure. Like it's not like they don't go silly with it. Like the players, the most important players, earn the most. So like De Bruyne is on a high and is on more than say a Gundogan. Like there is a wage structure to it. So it's not like they're silly with it, like United. But don't get me wrong, they obviously do spend more money.
What happens if that wage bill, like what Barca's doing at the moment? What do you do there?
I mean, again, these potential investors are billionaires, so you would think that they would be able to, and they would know when putting a bid in what the finances are, and they would be able to take on that with those wages.
I think a lot of it as well will be, I think when there's a new owner, a lot more dead weight. Because we all know there's a lot of dead weight in Chelsea's squad and on the loanees, etc. A lot of that will be sold. So, I mean, that could be a solution to it in a sense, but that's obviously not a long-term solution. That's a short fix. But yeah, the whole situation is very much up in the air. No one particularly knows. Will there be a good will we have money for wages? Will we not? Will we have money for buying players? Will we not? I know there's a lot of people who are interested in buying the club who are saying, "Oh, we'll do the rebuild of Stamford Bridge, which was planned back in the day before it got cancelled because Abramovich couldn't get in the country, unsurprisingly."
But this is all something that it's painting the picture. The most likely thing to happen for me, or could happen. Say if you do drop out of top four, say if you don't get Champions League, the existing players you've got will be looking at it going, I am a Champions League player. I want to be playing for a Champions League team. And then also if you're not playing Champions League, if you don't have the financial backing to attract these players, how are you going to maintain the quality that you've got in the squad? This is and that's the snowball effect then of it makes it so difficult to then get back to the level that you're at the moment. So
I think I agree with Ben in the sense of whilst we've got Tuchel, we will probably stay as a Champions League side. And it's that new manager, depending on if Tuchel stays for a long period of time like Pep and Klopp. Now we've got a new owner who probably won't kick out managers quite as quickly as Abramovich used to. Or if it goes wrong, and then obviously then we fall off, and then the players go, is when we could be in trouble. So it's whether or not we get the next manager right, I think, in my opinion, and how long Tuchel can last at the level he is.
I'm a little bit more cautious than Cam maybe because I can't see Chelsea dropping off to like you say, maybe when the next manager and stuff, but in the immediate future, I can't see it, and even in the extended future. Unless there is this deterioration behind the scenes, which is impossible to tell, then
Mm.
I can't. I'm personally, it's more me being a pessimistic person thinking Chelsea is just going to be there anyway. Even though obviously, like rival fans will be like, "Oh, Chelsea out the picture. That's easy for us." But I think they'll still be there, just as much. But yeah.
On that, I was going to ask each of you what is your most likely, what you think is the most likely scenario that Chelsea will happen. I'd say 15 years. We'll put a bracket on it. 10 years is a bit easier. 10, 15 years. We'll start with Fab.
To be fair, I was going to say I wanted to hear your opinion first because I was quite curious. Probably base mine off yours.
Mine is, I think we'll stay where we are. I don't think.
Well, so
I'll say
like,
the scenarios. If we get a US owner, we won't stay. We'll stay for a bit, but we won't stay for that long until they either fix the Liverpool model or they don't. If we get a club like supporting owner, I can see us challenging for the title in the next 5-6 years, over the next 5-6 years, and then a bit of a drop off, but I still see us challenging for top 4. And then if it's a Qatar owner, then happy days overall. But not the fact that they're Qatar owners, because Qatar owners are obviously horrible people.
Yeah, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
All right, that's my 3 scenarios basically. I think.
Okay.
Huh?
Yeah, so I would say, kind of along the same lines as you. If you get an American owner like Liverpool do, you definitely will not get the same amount of investments, and I would see a couple of players leaving, just like Rudiger did. But I don't know if that's another question.
That's not confirmed yet, as in he hasn't agreed yet.
Yeah, but yeah, I would say if that happens, I can only base what's happened at Liverpool, and it's very easy to see, sunshine and daisies now. But we went through a tough rebuild stage. We were, finishing 7th, 8th in the Prem. The Prem's getting more and more competitive now. I can see that happening, but with a good management, and good transfer scouts, those sort of staff, you can rebuild.
Like I tell you.
But I'm a little bit skeptical that would happen to Chelsea. I think in the current climate, with the Newcastle deal, I can also just see a really rich guy coming along and saying, "Oh, that sounds like a bargain to me. I'll pick that up." And then, probably not on the same level as Abramovich has, but just resupplying, refunding the club as it's been doing.
All right.
Chelsea versus Crystal Palace. Told you.
Man City, Liverpool, or Nottingham. Just seeing that.
Yeah. Cash.
Well, yeah, it could be Nottingham Forest.
The cash has got through the black market. It's got through to the FA.
Is this the FA Cup draw?
Yeah. Chelsea always getting piss easy draws.
Mate, we got Real Madrid.
So what have we got? We've got Nottingham Forest and then City.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that. Right, so this is all going to happen. You're going to get a new owner. If you're talking about a new stadium rebuild as well, like, you're just not going to have the same financial support. And the implications of that are just, they are enormous. Like, I can speak from like my perspective as what I know happened with Arsenal. We had Arsene Wenger at the head, who is arguably one of the best managers ever, right? But because we didn't get the financial support from the board because we had the wrong owners, it didn't matter about the manager. Like, he was a brilliant manager, but he didn't have the support, so he wasn't able to improve the team. And for that reason, we were high and then dropped, and then kind of started rebuilding. Like, there's teams around you as well that are building, and they're already through the process of building. And I think those teams will catch up and go ahead. And that's where I can see Chelsea missing out because they don't have the support. But that's all kind of that's assuming that the owners don't actually provide support, but we don't know that because you haven't got these new owners yet. So it's dependent on who comes in, and kind of if you keep Tuchel, I'm sure he can do a good job, which he has done in the last few years, and probably you will maintain for a bit, but longevity wise, if you don't have that support, I don't think you'll last long. And then it will be about rebuilding, especially if you have a stadium to rebuild or improved. That's going to be something that will further hold you back even more. So, but dependent on the owners, that's it's either going to go. It can go two ways, can't it? Really, you either maintain or you're going to drop off a bit and then have to rebuild. So,
it's kind of actually that's made me think that this has kind of come actually a really awkward time for Chelsea, because we're almost at let's say the rebuild finishes there. We're actually kind of like there just to try and catch up with Liverpool and City, and we're so close. The annoying thing is we're so close. Like, you could almost think next season we'd properly challenge, but obviously if we get this new owner, then we could not. So it's kind of come at an awkward time for Chelsea. Ben, what's yours, and then we'll wrap up the Chelsea talk.
Chelsea
yeah, I mean, I can't. I'm not sure much will change in the immediate future, but I think a lot of it does rest on whether this new owner, whether this new owner is one who invests or one who doesn't invest, and also on Tuchel leaving and how that goes. That will rest a lot on that, but I think that's the same. But in terms of the manager, that's the same with Liverpool and City as well. Like, a lot of it rests on what happens after Guardiola and Klopp, and how they do. And I think, I mean, with City especially, there will be a dip of some sort when Guardiola goes. No doubt about it. I don't think it'll mean we drop out of top four, but we will struggle after that a little bit. But I think I mean, obviously, it rests on what happens with Tuchel, but I think the main thing is whether this new owner invests or not. Because obviously, like you say, if he doesn't, then we've seen that happens with sort of with Arsenal, and then also poor investment with United if they get the investment wrong. So it does entirely depend on that. But I can't see much changing, especially in the immediate future. And even whilst Tuchel's there, to be honest.
Fair enough. Well, we'll move on to some recent results. Obviously, the international break's coming up, so there's not really any fixtures to talk about. Monday, Palace 0-0 City. Obviously, we did speak about it on the Blue podcast, but Fab and Cam weren't here yet. Fab, obviously a positive result for you.
Yeah, I mean, don't like to make too much celebrations for another team's downfall. Obviously, points are points. I did watch the end of the game, and I think with any game like that, you could tell City were unlucky, and on another day it would have been a 1-0, 2-0 game. But I think it shows a little bit, that City aren't, this, unstoppable beast, and they are like any other team going to drop points. And I think I think from the perspective of a neutral, it's probably made the title race that much more exciting, and I think that's important for a season as well in the Prem. Yeah. No one likes to see a runaway leader, so spice things up.
Sure, and we'll stick with Fab. Moving on to the win over Arsenal on Wednesday. Obviously, again, a good result within 3 days for you. Close the gap. What's the gap now? 1 point?
Yeah, I think we can go ahead before City play, something like that. But
are you not on the same points? No. On the same games?
On the same points, same games, yeah, but play before us. That's what I mean.
Oh,
yeah.
Putting the pressure on City. Obviously, Cam, you wanted to put pressure on Chelsea. That didn't happen. So, did you watch the game? Well, yeah, you kind of did, kind of didn't, because we were out.
Yeah. We watched the first half, didn't we? And the first half was promising. It was, to be fair, talking to Fab a lot after it. It was like, as a whole, like the whole Arsenal fan base aren't disappointed with the result. The performance was good. It was positive. It was a positive performance. It felt a bit like the City home game that we lost, but the overall feeling after was a positive one, just because of like City and Liverpool are leaps and bounds ahead, but it's the fact that we managed to put in a solid performance and give them a good game. It just came down to the fact that Liverpool had to win that game and they had the quality to go out and win the game. But overall, no, not really that kind of that fussed about it. It's not really. It's kind of expected. Liverpool are the better team. Like it's just kind of how it is. It's almost a sense of like, well, if you can perform like that, why can't you get the result? But in terms of recent form, we kind of argue about how well Arsenal have been doing. 5 wins out of 6 games, well, the last 6 games, and before that we were doing okay. Top 4 place is in our hands, really. We've still got to play Tottenham, Chelsea, West Ham, Man United, I think, as well. So we've got some tough games coming up. But, I mean, we're not going to get close to Chelsea, I don't think. I think we're too far away. But the top 4 is definitely on the cards. So, it's a nice place to be in.
It is a good place to be in for your top 4 challenge. I could just keep on hearing Daft screaming downstairs during the Spurs game. I don't know what's happening, but Lille 1-2 Chelsea. It was just a standard result. We didn't put our strongest team out, but didn't need to, and only 2-0 up in the first leg. Arsenal got a good result against Villa on yesterday.
Yeah, strong one. Very, very kind of a bit of a weird one. 1-0 doesn't really resemble how the game went. First half, it should have been 2 or 3, and Villa were close. They came back in second half. Steven Gerrard changed things around, but overall dominated the game. So 1-0 was a bit of a flattering score for Villa, I thought. But yeah, good result, 3 points.
Also, yesterday was Chelsea 2-0 Middlesbrough. I don't think I'm not being modest, but I don't think anyone thought Middlesbrough could do 3 giants in a row in the FA Cup. It would have been quite some task. I mean, we literally looked like we were in second gear the whole game. Lukaku finally scored. Well done to him. Cool. Tap in, all created by Mason Mount, who I thought was phenomenal yesterday, as he has been for the last few games, which is great. Today, Samson won for City. Did you watch the game, Ben?
No, because I was watching F1, but yeah, it was obviously a good result. Nice. I think it was more important to going into the international break on a high, because obviously we dropped points against Palace, and we've dropped quite a few points in succession recently, and it's blatantly obvious that the momentum's with Liverpool, and that like they are just like they don't look like they're going to drop points. They're just grinding result after result after result, and City look like they're going to drop points. So and this is the thing that, I mean, we said it in the previous podcast, that obviously City could win at the Etihad against Liverpool. Just as Liverpool could beat City at the Etihad, but City could win at the Etihad. But I'm not sure that it'll matter, because I feel like City will drop points elsewhere, and Liverpool won't. So it doesn't. I think it's going to be very difficult.
I would say the international breaks come at a good time for you guys.
Yeah.
I was a little frustrated with it, as you said. We did have momentum, but you got international break, a bit of time to recover injuries and stuff, and go at it again. You think that'll change?
It's difficult, because maybe it could, but maybe nothing will change. And when Liverpool are in this type of form, I'd be more inclined to say nothing will change. I think they'll just keep on grinding result after result after result, and it's going to be very, very difficult. And this is why, sort of, obviously, if Liverpool do what you would expect them to do today, it's going to be City v Liverpool in the FA Cup semi, which is going to be difficult in itself. But because of the way Liverpool are playing in the league, the Champions League and FA Cup have become even more important to City, because I mean, it's sort of maybe. Basically, it's sort of if I was a betting man, I'd bet on Liverpool to win the league now. Like that's
Really?
how good their momentum is. Like in City, that's how little confidence I have in City not dropping points in other games. But and it's always the unsaid thing that people you probably would on balance say, and even though we're a point ahead, it sounds weird. It's like it almost feels as if we're behind because we've dropped so many points recently, and Liverpool are just winning every game. But yeah, it's going to be it's going to be difficult. And in this form, you wouldn't put it past Liverpool doing the quadruple at this rate, because like you say, you know, if Liverpool are just winning every game in the league, basically got Benfica in the Champions League, like whoa, you know, they're not going to be able to do that, Jesus. And then you know you probably get through to the semis against us and fancy yourself against us, and you'll fancy yourselves against Bayern, because Bayern are like Bayern are not going to beat is it Porto, not Porto, who's the other one, Villarreal. Like you know, it's basically a Bayern versus Liverpool semi-final. So it, you know, Liverpool are looking very formidable, and in you know, and City aren't. So you know, it's gonna be difficult, but you know, it's just one of those things.
Still enough games to play.
Yeah.
Loads of games to play, but that's probably not in City's favour.
No.
True.
And then last but not least today, we have Nottingham Forest versus Liverpool in the FA Cup. Fab's gone for a 1-3 win to Liverpool. Cam's gone for a 1-3 win to Liverpool. Ben's gone for a 0-3 win to Liverpool, and I've gone for a 0-4. Fab, be confident?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I think now we've won the Carabao Cup, whatever it's called now, I've forgotten. It's you know, that idea of the quadruple is nice to have, and I think the team and the players will be a bit keener to pick up the domestic silverware if they can. But you know, as I said, we've got City in the next round as well, so I'm not overly fussed about it, to be completely honest with you.
Fair enough. And on that note, thank you very much, guys, for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe if you're new around here. And there may be a Batman gradient show soon at some point if we organise it. Definitely be a Blue podcast next week, and hopefully a Purple show in a week's time. So yeah, see you.